Yahoo! Prof here. And we've got a new letter opener. Check out the previous video if you want to see the unboxing of that. But what we do have over there, you might see some anime. That's what we're checking out in this vid. Is I may have some stories and some acquisitions from the anime convention. First, let's take a little sneaky peek at what I picked up here. There are some bigger, more expensive items that I picked up at the anime convention too, that I will eventually do a video on. I need a lot more space than what we got down here, though. Maybe you'll even see them up on the wall. Wink, wink. Yeah, we may use our brand new letter opener. Check this out. Custom Cerakote on the blade for the Icefall from Tactile Turn. Matches their seasonal pen as well as their other folding knife. Originally back in the day, I'm like, why would I want a full shank, through shank knife? You know, a fixed blade knife. But I don't know, man. They've something that after having a couple now, it's like, if I can just find my Boy Scouts, wouldn't that be great? Forget who I got that from way back, but it's been missing for a better part, really not even better part of a decade or more. Part of that was because they didn't let you have them anymore. I find it ridiculous that a sheathed fixed blade knife is more dangerous than a folding knife. I feel like, especially in the not in the early days, but like for young people, the folding knife mechanism can be quite an issue. Yeah, and you're like, wait, that should be a slip joint. It's a Swiss Army knife. Haha, no, they make locking ones now. Gotta check in with my uncle, because after he saw me pick one of these up, he had to snag one himself, because they include the clip too. It's much more EDC friendly. You can get ones with more than just the blade as well. Turns out when it comes to, I'm not a big, in the car I do have my Gerber that is like, like a Leatherman sort of thing, multi-tool, but I've never been hugely into those. I would rather carry this and a quality knife than multi-tool, personally. I just get more use out of it. So, first things first, there were a couple places, unlike last year, where there was only one place, and you kind of see from what was behind there. There were places that had more retro. We're talking, like 2000s and prior anime. Let's say pre-2007 squiggle anime. Really 2006 to 2008. But that is during, that's that transition period of going from hand-drawn to digital. And even when we go to digital, it's still hand-drawn, but it's digitally hand-drawn, right? Whereas pre that time period, it was still all done with paper, pencil, pen, transparency, etc. Right? And I picked this up. This is actually a insert. See, it says "not for sale" down in the corner. This is an insert from a limited edition version from Genion, the box set collection, holographic. It comes over on camera because it's not stereo. You can probably see the transition happen, but you probably can't see it being all holographic. I always found it interesting that this is what they'd often use for the branding, was this form of him, when realistically, minus the first episode, which makes no fucking sense if you're watching Gungrave, skip episode 1. It's effectively episode 0. And then it kind of gets to him in this state last episode, maybe 2. I'm trying to remember. In between there is a fucking awesome. My brain is gangster anime, like mob anime, like that sort of thing, like traditional too, right? It's not until it kind of gets, because these be 26 episodes. It's not till the second half of that till they start really even getting into like the stuff that ends up there, where he's like undead, effectively killing the undead. You can kind of ignore that because the main bulk of it is a really top tier gangster anime. It's kind of funny, like I said, that they're using that, because realistically he's not in that form, minus the first episode, which you really should ignore. It's going to throw you off because people are like, what the fuck am I watching? Why am I seeing? I'm like, and there have been people where they're like, no, I watch everything, and I'm like, it will make you not like it or not want to like it, or you're gonna see that first episode, and then you're gonna see the second one, which is the real first episode, and then you're gonna be like, how the fuck do they get from A to B? And it can ruin it. For those wondering why I want this, well, because, and I had to unplug you from power. Don't fall, Chubby Cable. I have the box set that goes with, but I don't have the thingy for it. I think it goes on the other side. Like sticks or grips to it. It actually has like a mouse pad backing. They had a couple of these. So I actually don't know necessarily. It's not a mouse pad, obviously. But I don't know why. Like sometimes they would use this to fill space in like a box until you get like the final version or an art book or something like that. Don't know why, but I saw it. They randomly had it. I want to say it was $10. Nothing crazy, right? So I snagged it up. And snagged it up. I guess that is a term. Snapped it up would be the thing I'm looking for. Blu-ray. Oh my god, of course Google is being a piece of shit. Yes, I click on the thing that says the price. Please actually give me the item that I can fucking click on, Google. I don't know why you're drunk as shit. Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll. Unless they're pulling new ones out of somewhere, out of their butt. This is not correct. Unless they just restocked or something. It does not even want to load on Firefox. I have a feeling it's not correct. But I am a huge fan of Garden of Sinners, which is what you're seeing behind it there. Now, this is not the original release. I'm still trying to get the movie as well. Well, technically the original release was DVD, Japan only. I'm looking at getting that. Because that is how I watched it. So I'll take this out of the way. This guy right here, Garden of Sinners Blu-ray disc box, right there. This was a steal. Like, and you're like 256. This is an Aniplex of America box, right? And I saw that there were a couple. I shouldn't say a couple. There were literally a couple. There were two at the convention. And That was the first one I saw, and I didn't pick it up right away until I saw it on another booth, and it was $100 more. So when I saw this, I was pretty darn sure in my head that that was a banger price. Banger price. Like, they have it marked down. Most of the stuff at this booth, this collector's anime booth, wouldn't normally buy their stuff. They tend to have it like all over the place. Like, I think anime is like not their main thing. Like, they have like two kind of rows of it. They're like tall, but like they do plushies, they do manga, they do all sorts of stuff. But I knew that was a good price, so I almost picked it up at the time, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that. Then when I saw this exact set at another booth, and they priced it at more of what I thought it was going to be, which was like basically $100 more than this, like $356, I think it was $346, and it didn't have a price on it. At that other booth, this was on the floor, effectively, because at the booth where I picked this up from, box sets were either on the top shelf or the bottom shelf. You would think top shelf would be like the stuff that people want. It usually was. It was like this place also had like an original crap, what was it? An original Dragon Ball box, I think it was. It might have been Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. I'm trying to remember which one it was. But it was like, we were looking at it, and Peyton, who's been on the channel before, older brother of Frozen Slate, was looking at it, and he's like, is that an original one? And I'm looking over, I'm like, fuck, it is. Like, that's also why they wanted like $500 for it or something. Still, realistically, that price, we both looked at it, and we're like, that's not out of the ballpark. He even picked something up there that wasn't unreasonable. I want to say at a previous one, we found Psychopass, which we both almost bought. What did he end up getting that was not Psychopass? There was one, and always, especially now you have your this is me having to play with something with my hands, and I saw red shiny, grabbed it. Always double check your prices online, especially at a convention. They often gouge you, or at a minimum, they want market rate for it, right? Which is why when I saw this, I was like, that's a damn good price. Some of the other stuff that we've seen at other booths was like, crap, I forget. I really should look it up. There was like one left. Limited edition is back, I think. Limited edition, blah blah. Here's the news for Zaryushi bottles. Psychopass made it back. Crap, did I send it to Preston maybe? Use here. I'm trying to remember. It was one that he wanted. That was a steel book. And like he almost bought it because it wasn't a bad price, or so we thought. In person, it wasn't a bad price. Turns out, I think it was a Sentai Filmworks. I think Amazon must have been clearing house with Sentai Filmworks. Browsing. Browsing history that I can look at. Browsing history. That might only be this PC though. Nope, it's not. Garner Synergy, Car, Kyoukai, Psychopass, more Psychopass. All that stuff for my car. I don't have it here. Was it Steins Gate? Maybe? It might have been the Steins Gate Steelbook. it's not in my browsing history. I'm a dum-dum. It's weird because everything else is in my browsing history. Heh. Heh. Very interesting. Yeah, for she playing the intimates about the day, yada yada. Thanks, must have restocked yesterday when I ordered. He ended up ordering Psychopaths as well because they were like $15 a pop. I can show you that. But yeah, here, I don't know if they still are, but yeah, go to the thing. Okay, so that's not as discounted as it was. That's all my stuff following. It's great. Thank you. Yeah, so that's not as discounted as it was. Like, those were like 15, I want to say, when he and I ordered. 30, yeah, all the prices went up. There must have been some sort of thing where they were trying to get rid of them. Because I'm like literally not shitting you. This was here, view order. I did order that one later, I think. I did watch. I got called tonight. That's what you're gonna be seeing momentarily. That was another one I almost bought there when I saw the box set for Call of the Night. And view invoice. Here you go. Peep that. The movie, $12.99, $21 and $25 for season 1 and season 2. Like, that's like normally a cost of a season, right? Like, here you go. Yep, Call of the Night too. It was more at the booths. The one booth where I found it, and Call of the Night is a series that I want. Amazon had it cheaper at the base price of $83, but then there's a $10 coupon. So that's why you always look. But and okay, like if you're getting it at the same price as Amazon, fine. Support the people at the convention. They can use it. That's why they're there. But if you're gonna save significant money, like we did with Psychopaths, and that wasn't a steelbook. I think he got Steins Gate. He might have gotten that and something else. Because I told him, like, he might have got a normal Steins Gate. Fuck. I really wish I remembered. But it was like, and then we looked it up. It was also a Sentai Filmworks, series. And I think Amazon was clearancing clearancing Sentai Filmworks. For whatever reason. Because in this case, it was Sentai Filmworks. It's not helping me at all. Yeah, I don't remember which one it was. My brain is just, I'll have to ask him and find out for you guys. But we picked it up. His brother went and looked, and on Amazon, because we're like checking, we're like, double check before, because like I hadn't seen that steelbook in ages, and I'm like, yeah, that's a steelbook, that is a limited edition. I know they don't make that one anymore. Amazon had it flash deal more than 50% off. There were 2 left in copies. And I'm like, I'm guessing they lost the license to that or something, or Amazon found 2 in the back room. Does not make any sense that they're selling it that cheap. And I was like, ended up being his brother because he didn't have Amazon on his phone. He doesn't use it enough, apparently. Fine. Picked that up. I really wish I remembered what it was, but my brain just goes. But it was something that he was super into, and then like, we were double checking Amazon or any of the other places. Like for this too, when you're spending this much on a box set, you want to make sure if you're going to pick it up in person that is a worthwhile deal. Like it's actually like you're either like I'm not even saying like it has to be cheaper at the convention because it usually won't be, but it should at least be in the realm of what like you should pay. Like when Call of the Night was $100 at one of the booths, and I can find it on Amazon for $80, and I can get a $10 coupon. Ain't no fucking way I'm giving them that money, right? But you know, stuff like this I'll gladly pick up. Or like I said, one of the was it Media Blasters might have had like some of the actual like publishers or the licensors are there, and that's where I believe that's where he got Steins Gate for like. He's like, oh, it's like retail. Why wouldn't I pick it up here? I'm like, well, that's because that's the publisher. Like, they set the price. So, yeah, that's why you're getting it at a reasonable price, unlike some of the other booths. Because they're selling it to you what they would normally sell it for. This, however, was like basically, like they say $319. I don't know what this originally would have gone for. I have zero fucking clue. What I can tell you is going rate for one of these is about $100 more. And the other booth had it at that price. I thought that seemed like a really freaking good deal when I saw it. And it was because that is the 2018 re-release. That's the one that the movie is at $369 on Amazon right now. Now, I really want the original one. Not the re-release. But the original is even fucking harder to get your hands on. And is going... Like, pre-owned versions of this cost $289 right now. Pre-owned for $361. Yes Asia, which is going to be an import, is $285. Technically, Google kicks back that Crunchyroll has it for $249.98, but when you click on the link, I just want to prove this, it refuses to load. So I don't know. Now, Crunchyroll would make sense because Crunchyroll is Sony, which is Aniplex. Like, they're not going to have different stores. Anymore. Blu-ray disc pre-order today. Watch the trailer. Okay, so that is correct. Retail price should be $249, so I paid a little bit over retail. There you go. SRP is $319. Retail price is $249.98. Also, this page where it says buy now is not going to work because it says pre-order today. That's from 2018. There you go. Sold out. That I do want. Recalled Out of Summer. This is the movie. Sold out. There you go. This is the one I'm trying to get. That's the movie. There was not an original. Yeah. There's the movie one. It has red on the box instead of blue. Nobody there had that. But now I am looking for this. You can see how jank this was with DVD details. Now there was a DVD box standard edition. 7 plus 8 episodes plus 1 special. Pre-show reminder, final chapter, disc 8. 7 plus 1 extra. This is extra after that even. I think it also summarizes some of the normal show potentially. It's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, this is like one of the OGs when Aniplex first came into the US, and that was like when they ripped a ton of their licensed anime away from Funimation. And then they just never brought it back to the US. So if you're wondering why Funimation back in the day lost a bunch of licenses that were previously Aniplex, including the likes of Full Metal Alchemist. That is because of Aniplex coming to the US. And obviously if Aniplex USA is in the US, why would they license it? Why would Aniplex Japan license their stuff to anybody but Aniplex USA? Or right? So the original version of this is highly sought after. It was also like double or triple this new, I want to say. I couldn't afford it. I did get one Aniplex US, maybe more than one, but at least one Aniplex USA release. I'm unsure if I can locate, so I'm going to have to bring you over here. Yeah, I'll bring you guys over here. I'll unplug you from power. So this Aniplex USA was less of like the OG Garden of Sinners, because the original US release of original Garden of Sinners was just the Japanese release, subtitles that it brought over here. So back here we've got Ergo Proxy. Oh, that's Black Lagoon, the box. I have the steel books. They're a bit older back there. Pat Labor, All My Ghosts in the Shell. HB Lane, Hibernate Renmei, Technolize, Outlaw Star, Gunbuster, Ava, Gasaraki, Freedom, Black. There's like a lot of Genion and Pioneer sets. Love me a classic Genion Pioneer set. We got Dot Hack, Sign, and Roots. Some classic shorts are all in there. We're looking for... Okay, so I might have two. I have ROD. This is an Aniplex release. Fairly sought after one. It actually looks like a book. I don't know if I can actually get it out. Nope. I believe that's an Aniplex. Let's move some pens. Yep. Aniplex. That costs way too much. But ROD is literally one of my defining anime, let's call it. And that has ROD the movie, which is what I'm talking about. And then ROD the TV, which is actually surprisingly good. And then somewhere around here is Bakano. There it is. So that's the other Aniplex that I picked up. And this, previous to this, never had a release. So this is worth like... This is more similar to once Aniplex USA. So this is like the reduced cost US release, not the Japanese version. Like they actually... By the way, reduced cost US release means it's half the price of Japan, but that still means it's in the hundreds of dollars. Like, you know, minimum $250 to $450. You know, whereas in Japan, for a whole series, you're looking at double that, right? So this is the same thing. That's like the reduced cost, the re-release. Now, that the ROD definitely wasn't. I don't know if that what the Japan one looks like, but the Bakano, that was specifically a US release version, because I think Aniplex came in and they realized like, oh shit, we can't just release our... Initially, they just released their Japanese versions in the US, and yeah, that might have worked in Japan, but when you go from US people buying Blu-rays and DVDs for anime and thinking that like $80 is on the high end, you know, you're doing on the like high end of a box set, it was probably 80. There were essentials where it was the whole series, because it's pre-streaming, right? Where you'd like Funimation would sell you an essentials complete series for $20. So when they come out, they're hitting with $250 discounted, right? Now they're not $250 anymore. Let's put it that way. ROD box. Let's see if that pulls it up from... Okay, so the ROD box I actually bought from Bandai because they used to sell Aniplex. ROD the complete. So that was actually purchased before the Aniplex acquisition. I have the Freedom box set and the Wings of Honimaze? I have a bunch of Bandai stuff. Let's put it that way. So I'm used to paying like raised prices, but not like, oh god, gut me and sell both my kidneys and all my arms and legs. Start up Bandai, yeah. So $199 is what in 2011 the pre-order for the already or complete cost, and that was on a high end back then, and that was Bandai, not Aniplex. It probably doubled when it went to Aniplex. Let's look up Bakano box. The Bakano box also. So I might have dodged a bullet on that, because looks like I picked that up from Bandai as well. So that was pre-Aniplex USA. I want to say that the Garden of Sinners might have been the first. Let's find out. Let's see if Gemini knows. I bet you they don't, because first Aniplex USA release. Is it going to know what I'm referencing? But I do have some Aniplex releases. They used to go through Bandai Entertainment in the US. Bandai Entertainment went under. Yeah, well, Aniplex America shifted strategies to handle their own distribution in 2010. That seems a bit early to me. Historic debut product. This marked the beginning of their signature and often polarized business model, importing premium, high-cost, Japanese-style deluxe sets to the Western market rather than traditionally budget-priced, localized media. But even then, like I said, the ROD, the complete set, was $200 from Bandai, right? This is a 7 to 8 movie set, right? Much less than a full 26 episode series in a movie, right? MSRP of $319, sells for $250. Nowadays, it sells for $350. Like if you want to buy it on the second hand, well, I wouldn't even like second hand market, even though it's not used. I guess would be ROD the complete. I wonder how much that goes for now. Gotta put the periods in probably. ROD the complete. So as far as I can tell, ain't nobody on eBay selling they're selling the pre-done one that was, I think, Genion. US only, because we're getting ones from Japan. Already the complete. There are people asking stupid prices like $3,000 and $9,000 for the already the complete. Okay, so the Bakano Blu-ray. Yep, they keep saying Japan. That's a big thing. You can get these a lot cheaper if you want to import the Japanese directly. And when the Blu-ray era started, often it would not be uncommon for the Japanese releases to at least have English subtitles. Like a lot of these say Japanese release with English subtitles. But like right now here, new low price for the Bakano box set complete, $550. A pre-owned one, like an opened one, $399. So like that is something when you get to the Aniplex or the Bandai sets or the stuff like that, it get your hands on them if you want them, because they go way up. So I saw this for like a under market price, at least from what I was looking up. Like, I was looking up Gardner Center's recent sales. I wasn't even seeing you gotta search Blu-ray because like the very earliest releases were DVD. And if I'm gonna go that route, I want to go Japanese. Yeah, here somebody's selling the movie for $860, like the singular movie. I'm probably going to have to put an alert on that to try and get it. Let's look at sold items, because I was looking at this at the convention. Because when you spend that much money, you kind of want to like, pay attention. Somebody sold the opened the series and the movie together for $400. I don't know if those were U.S. or Japanese releases. Looks like U.S. to me. You can usually tell by like the obi. Apparently somebody sold a sealed copy of the movie for like $900. That's insane. Another one for $950. So the fact that that person only got $400 for the pair, crazy. Now maybe those other ones are sealed. But like here, there's ones for $369, $399, opened without the obi, $250 for this set right here. DVD edition, $150. That actually would not be bad because effectively it's the same set, but DVD. And that's because at the time Blu-rays were actually substantially more expensive. And you might not have a Blu-ray player because this is right on that edge of not this re-release. Technically, the re-release of this was, you can see, 2018, but the original, this came out between 2007 and 2009, right? So that is like the advent of Blu-ray, effectively, or like when that's finally hitting the main market. So keep an eye out when you buy it at cons. Make sure you're at least getting it for, also, like, yes, okay, $250, I paid $256. That's convention tax, effectively, right? Granted, like I said, I got it kind of like under market. And I knew what it was right away. Like, this is something that's kind of been sitting there as my, like, one of those grail items that you kind of like keep an eye out. Hopefully somebody will bring it in. I don't want to pay premium. Like, if you really want it, you could pay a premium to somebody to acquire it for you, or like when somebody posts it for a ridiculous price on eBay. Not wait for somebody to have it at a reasonable price, like I'm gonna have to do for that movie. I may even end up with like where the guy sold the movie with the series, and that's probably why I didn't get as much, as he didn't explicitly sell his movie. You gotta watch for that shit, because people fuck up when they do that. Because they don't explicitly call out the say the movie or the other thing is getting, like, I want the US release, not the Japanese. And from you could probably fake it if you wanted to by importing the Japanese one to the US and like reselling it. Often the only difference, or one of the only differences, in some of these with Aniplex, they have so little difference because it's already got English subs that they'll just change the obi to be, see, it says Aniplex of America Inc. It's important because the other one would say just Aniplex or Aniplex Japan. Keep an eye out. Like, often that's the only difference, is this obi would be in Japanese potentially, or if you look at which Aniplex it is, it's important. Like, it might not be important to you. Maybe you're just collecting a specific thing and you don't want, but I tend to want to collect the US releases because I'm from the US, right? Many cases it may be cheaper or easier to import from Japan, but those copies also aren't worth as much because it's kind of like Pokemon cards. Japanese Pokemon cards, generally not worth as much. If it's at least if it's one that's also available in the U.S. market. So now we got those two. What else did I pick up? Okay, here's what else I did. I got Call of the Night box set. You're like, well, didn't you say you were gonna buy that at the convention? Yeah, but it was way cheaper on Amazon. And I think because they were doing a Sentai Filmworks, which used to be Section 20. No, it is Section 23 Films. That's what used to be. Fuck, why am I forgetting them? I can look there. I go with older selection. I don't have a lot of their stuff because I generally don't like their licenses. I think Full Metal Panic was ADV Films. There you go. Yep, Full Metal Panic was one of theirs. Sentai. So I don't know if they were having a sale on Sentai Filmworks on Amazon. Now, Amazon did almost cuck me with this. When I first looked at it, it was at the normal price, and then it had a $10 coupon, right? Went back to look at it later because I was shopping in the vendor hall. By the way, if you're going to a convention, or not I say all of them, but at least ACEN, we used to do the look on a Friday, buy on a Saturday. Anything else that's left over, you might get a deal on Sunday. Not the case anymore. The Saturday gets so busy. If you don't go on Friday and find what you want, it will be picked clean by the end of Saturday. What was weird, interesting about this one though, is because I didn't buy it right away. When I went back to it later that night, when in the hotel room, it only had $5 off coupon. I'm like, you fucks, Amazon, you fucks. Yep, they were playing that game. Then later on when I looked, no coupon. I ended up letting it sit till like the following Monday. When I had off, because I usually take the following Monday off. I'm sitting there just, well, still sick, but it's like sick as, and I'm looking at it. Oh, look, $10 coupon's back because I didn't buy it. It's like, you fuckers. They know what's up. That's why I told Peyton, who actually Preston did the ordering, but I'm like, dude, order it. Like, I forget which steelbook that is. Maybe it'll hit me. But it was one he wanted, and like it was like I said, 50% off, like flash deal, only 2 left in stock on Amazon or something. Then the Psychopath stuff was actually going out of stock as well. The second movie, Providence, randomly when I went to order, that would have been like Sunday. No, either it was Sunday when I got back or Monday, it was gone. None of that in stock. Then a day later it popped up and I ordered it. But I'd ordered the other ones because like you saw the deals in that. That's like Psychopaths is done by Production IG. It's basically modern Ghost in the Shell. Slightly different take on stuff, but if you like Ghost in the Shell, especially Standalone Complex, watch Psychopaths. It does. First season is probably going to be more towards what you're used to. Later seasons tend to veer more towards, say, like SAC 2045, like more of a military. Like they start getting more into the pew-pews and the fighting and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't realize, like they're like, oh, it's like a blah, blah, blah. Yes, each movie and or season of Psychopaths purposefully, and then later they go into stuff where there's multiple movies in like an OVA movie series, much like Garden of Sinners. If you haven't watched Garden of Sinners, it is like gives me chills watching the animation. It is so well done. But with that is also, it's focused on different characters. So a lot of people are like, well, it's completely different and yada yada yada. Right, because you're seeing similar stories, or like you're seeing the world develop from different characters' angles. That is done purposefully. And like it is very intentional, it is done very well. Like I'm not saying you have to come to appreciate it, but it's kind of like when there's sequel games and it's just more of the same, a lot of people don't enjoy them as much because you just played an entire fucking game that was that. Like you don't just want another one, you know? like say for I don't know that I bought the second Zelda yet. Tears of the Kingdom. And Linus from Linus Tech Tips mentioned about it. He's like, I already played Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom is like the same thing but with an arm. You know, it's not enough of a change of gameplay for him. And he's like, I already played a whole game of that. And I can understand it. Like, I have felt that before. Now, if there's enough time between, like, there was enough time between Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2, and there were enough changes and additions that's like, oh, I can get into this again. I can play it again. That's where pacing, you know, of releases and stuff like that matters. But I picked this up. I would have bought it there, but like I said, the coupon, Season 1 limited edition, they must have already known when they made this that Season 2 was out. So I'll have to pick up the limited edition of that when it comes out. Who knows if it'll be Sentai. Because Sony has a stranglehold on the US market, where, as you saw, like I was mentioning, I don't know if it was in this video, it's been going for a while, but first season of, I think G Kids might be partially owned by Sony now, so that might be why Shout. There was actually rumors that Shout Filmworks was going to stop doing their anime releases and only do them under G Kids, but G Kids primarily does movies, not series. So there's this whole thing, and that was because I think there's like partial ownership by Sony, but Sony already has Funimation, Crunchyroll, Right Stuff. There's also the Right Stuff did 18 plus rated stuff. That got eaten up in that. Also, the Nozomi Entertainment was the licensor for Right Stuff. That got eaten up in there as well. And shout Sony. They have some relation to Sony, and I don't know if they lost. So in 2024, it was announced G Kids was sold to Japanese entertainment Toho. Toho Entertainment. Is Toho Entertainment owned by Sony in some way? Maybe I'm crazy. Comics Wave Films. That's Ghibli. Okay, so it makes sense why Toho owns G Kids, because G Kids has the licenses to all of Ghibli US releases, pretty much. I think they even got Grave of the Fireflies now. For a while, Sentai had that one. Sentai is definitely losing shit that they had before. Let's put it that way. And as I think they still do High Dive. I think that still exists, but it's basically irrelevant. Tubi, G Kids announced, Mikado Shinkai's. Yeah, they got Voices of This replaced by only 5 children who lost voices. Heck yeah. I picked up all those when they released them. Yep, part of Toho International. Shout Studios is somehow related to that because Shout and G Kids were related. Yeah, Shout Studios and G Kids launched Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue in 4K. I also saw that in theaters back when they got a 4K version. See, I don't know how G Kids were, like, they were related. Agreements with American and foreign companies, releases under. Because you could get like G Kids releases on Shout Studios websites, and that would be like the only way to get them. Yeah, Shout Factory, most successful tag team relationship in North America video market, essentially co-publishers. Distribution. Okay, yeah. Shout as manufacturing, distribution, and marketing. There you go. So they're not licensing. G Kids is the licensor. Then Shout Studios ends up being distribution, manufacturing, etc. I knew there was some relation there. Yeah, G Kids. Yep. Now that may change because remember Toho came on in, and that's where President completely migrated the home video over to Shout Studios, making Shout definitive home for G Kids physical content. even with major on subsidiary. Yes, there was a whole thing where Shout, like, people thought they were going to leave licensing anime because of that G Kids getting bought. Apparently not the case. They'll still, but it seems to be reduced. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is, like, you used to see more of it, I guess, from them directly. I have some specific Shout Studio stuff. It's usually like more niche by like a lot. Here, directly released by Sony Pictures in Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. They didn't even go through Crunchyroll or anything for that. Probably because then this would show up in like Walmart, if Walmart still physically carries these and stuff like that, or in theaters, right? Scarlet, new movie from Mamoru Hosoda. I found out about that when I was browsing Amazon for Call of the Night, Psycho Pass, and a bunch of these other anime, that this was even a thing. And I was like, oh, shit. Well, I'm going to pre-order the 4K Steelbook. It didn't have like a limited edition. Sometimes they'll have like more that comes with special features, art book. But this was the like premium version. You could get the 4K non-Steelbook or the standard Blu-ray. Yeah, I went this route. We'll see how this is because stuff Mamoru Hosoda normally works with the same writer. He stopped as of Boy and the Beast. The writing quality definitely went down. If that writer is back, it may have improved. Yeah, Scarlet is his own again. So now there was Mirai and Bell. I did watch Mirai. I own Bell. I don't know that I've watched it yet. Hopefully he's improved because The Boy and the Beast, as much as it was a good film, the story itself was severely reduced in quality, let's say, and complexity. Now maybe he was aiming at a different target market, potentially. You know, but it got a lot simpler. For those wondering, I think not all of mine are up there because some of them need to be ripped so they're by the TV. Oh no, definitely not ripped. Backed up legally for data retention purposes. There you go. There's all my new 5 centimeters children who chase lost voices, etc. And I have the Sentai releases, and I have the original releases. But then over there, you should also be able to see Bell, and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I got Zetsubo Sensei. What do I got here? Paprika. Yeah, there's good shit, dude. Good shit. I think a bunch of the other ones are out here under the TV. Hosoda, I would say, is like modern. Closest you get to. There's Summer Wars re-release. Summer Wars is great. Check that out. Even the dub is amazing. And I wouldn't say he's at the tier of Hayao Miyazaki, but I would say he's the closest when it comes to popularity of his movies at a similar age group and quantity. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but you know, I really thought. I'm trying to remember who it was that we lost. Shinkai, Makoto Shinkai. I would put him above, maybe not above, Miyazaki, but like with how short he and how few works he produced, the amount of effect that he had on the industry, crazy. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that I bought Advent Children. I never rewatched it. 4K Blu-ray of Advent Children. Had to get that. Advent Children was like the demo for Blu-ray, effectively. Like CG, in some cases, I feel like still hasn't caught up. So the fact that I have it on 4K Blu-ray when I originally watched it on DVD is crazy. So I picked up the Scarlet because it's his new film. There's a couple I gotta watch in between there, turns out. Some of those I did watch on, because they ended up popping up on streaming services. So even though I own the physical release, because I can watch that whenever I want, once they were free on streaming services, sometimes, you know, if I don't have it backed up yet, it's easier than getting the disc out, right? Audio and quality on the disc is always going to be better, though. What did I knock over? Yeah, so I was pumped to get this at the rate quality. My brain is, this is probably our last video night. 337. Yeah, even though I have this box right here, that'll be a tomorrow video. Excuse me. Zoostar Inc. For those that care. Moose. So we've got this big old box, which is our last item that relates to. I was going to use the new knife, but this is all tape and goopy. And they put a lot of tape on it. I will use the normal box cutter. Or letter opener, I should say. I didn't pack this the best. Big box, but I may have, while I was buying the modern re-release, lowballed some dude on Amazon, on eBay. There's a bit of a trend, isn't there? Oh, they put little loopy guys. Look at that. Thank you, packing people. Look at that. They put loopy guys so you can just peel it, get it out instead of. Is it elsewhere? No, of course not. You may be able to tell from that what this is. Okay, so there is some slight damage, and we've dealt with this before. It's just like the only way I got my Toradora box is that it was slightly damaged. So this box, this is the original one. And as long as all the discs are good in here, somebody actually used it. That's why it's, as you can see here, that this gets hit with this closing. And I will personally take a bit of a deal when it comes to oh, that is so Japanese of them. Yep, this is what Japan does. You're like, what do you mean by that? 8 movies means 8 discs, which means probably $800. Or probably $150 a pop. So For those wondering, back in the day when this was coming out, I was watching it as it was released. You can see a couple fingerprints on these, but so this has checked a, like obviously I want to get the movie that follows this up, right? But this has checked a very large thing off my list. So I didn't necessarily intend on buying the original along with the 2018 re-release, but I got it because I lowballed somebody on eBay. And yeah, my guess is they actually used it and or it fell and hit here. Something also fell and hit there. But this is the original box. 2007 to 2009. Guess that there are the discs. Here's the book. I don't know if this has ever even been opened. Gorgeous art. Yeah, limited DVD bonus art. And what's this? The insert. I have a Paisley Marie on my shoulder. So after you guys see this, yeah, so there's a little bit of damage here. Like this technically needs to be there, and there's nothing holding it there. You could probably try and fix it, but for a lot of this stuff, for me, is it worth hundreds more to get? And you're like, oh, with the other one you said that this should be in English. Yes, but I also kind of read the thing for the original one where they literally, on the initial releases of Aniplex, right? They straight up just imported the Japanese ones. And that's what this is. That's also why they were so expensive. I think they were still a little cheaper than Japan. But Paisley, your claws are right in me. Yeah, you're a very cute kitten, but holy hell. Pop you guys off the stand. So, for those wondering, oh, she just got up. She was over my shoulder with her claws right down here. Yeah, it's time for sleepies. No, are anime watching? Can we watch anime? This night only has, what is it? Toxic whatever. Yeah, you wanna sit down? There we go. Ugh. Kitten. Yeah, what's it called? It's called marriage toxin. That's what it is. It's the only one tonight, so I might watch some leftovers from other nights. Oh, Pazer. Kitten. Kittanian. Yeah. Oh. Jeez. Like, you at a minimum would be spending like $50. Hey, cut it the frick out. And that one still has damage, not the dents, but these are getting old. So like that one's got damage there. It's got damage that whole section right there. There you go. It's got damage on the internal stuff. So that, like, you know, $50 more would have gotten me a differently damaged one. Nobody else has them listed in the originals. US only got sold. Where are you sold items? Yeah, I didn't spend $300 on that. There you go. That's the original listing. So it's weird. I think here's the original, right? Then that says 250 there. Yeah, see, you bought this item too. Let me see. I'll take my order. Maybe I can only see that because I'm the one that bought it. But yeah, it was listed for 300. I knocked him down to 250. I originally threw 200 at him, but then he hit me back with 250, and I was like, "Yep, take it." Because the other one that I was also damaged, as I showed,